It is Night of Champions week, my friends, so we have to put our geek and nerd brains into gear and predict the thing. And listen, I didn't do too badly on the last pay-per-view, so I'm on a roll. Not really, shut up. And of course, there's three massive things here, right? We've got the King of the Ring finals, we've got the Queen of the Ring finals, which we don't know yet, so I'm going out a bit of a limb here. And we have CM Punk versus John Cena for the WWE title. So we'll start with the two, not random matches, but I'm surprised that both the men's Intercontinental and the men's US Championship are being defended on this show, although it is called Night of Champions. I mean, by that logic, do we get a women's title match? No, because I think Nia versus Tiffany Stratton is on SmackDown, which is interesting. But I think they're quite obvious when it comes to the mid-card belts, because Solo Sikoa versus Jacob for two, I think there's a small chance we may get nothing, like disqualification, we may get some dick, distraction, interference, and confusion, just because I think they should do the big match at SummerSlam. I think they should have done a tag match here, and then the big title match at SummerSlam, but twofold. One, again, Night of Champions, but two, I guess you can throw some kind of stipulation in there, probably make it Bloodline rules, and Hikuleo will probably debut. Though if Hikuleo debuts, that means Solo wins the title. I wouldn't mind that. Jacob for two has been lucky in many ways that he's Jacob for two. It's the dumbest thing I've ever said. Well done, Jacob for two. You're Jacob for two. You've done a great job. And Jacob for two's like, what else could I have done? I've always been Jacob for two. But because we came out of WrestleMania onto his babyface run, push, whatever you want to call it, and what he did at Money in the Bank, you kind of forget the fact he's not really defended that title. He had that chat with Damian Priest when Damian Priest said he was going to go after that. I just didn't bother. It's been a little bit weird. When we had that four-way at whatever the hell it was, but everybody kind of seemed to walk off in different directions. So in order, we could go back to the Solo thing, which I don't mind. I think Solo Sikoa is vastly underrated. If I watch wrestling television to be entertained, my gosh, that guy entertains me up the wim wham, which is not a euphemism. But there are other belts that maybe we could have had, a Dominic Mysterio, although that's kind of with the Finn Balor thing too. I think WWE's fallen into a little bit of a pattern here where they feel like they've got their match where they want to go, so you don't do anything in between. I just think they could have been defended more. You know my feelings on this, we don't need to talk about it. But I don't think Jacob for two is going to win. I think it's going to be a schmoz. So maybe Jacob for two wins, but it will be by a DQ, or it'll be by some kind of nonsense. I don't think we're getting a clean finish here, is what my prediction is. And so you can argue that Solo Sikoa wins, but that would mean Jacob for two interfering or something. So I imagine Jacob for two wins, but it's not, concrete. The door has been open for a sequel, and the sequel will be at SummerSlam, but we can potentially use this to really sort of light the feud up, because it's still somewhat, mundane's the wrong word, that sounds negative, but we're still getting there, right? Because we had the turn Money in the Bank, they had the conversation, even as recently as last Friday, Solo Sikoa was like, I still love you, man, and then it got really bad, hence why we're getting this match. But yes, I still think there's something we can do here. I don't think we should blow it off here, for example, so you can't just have Jacob for two win. If you do, why the hell would Solo Sikoa get another match? But I don't think Solo Sikoa is going to lose either. We'll make it to SummerSlam. Is this going to negate it a little bit? Well, we'll see. But we'll say that Jacob for two keeps his US Championship. That's the best way to predict it. And I will say that Hikuleo is there. I don't know what Tama Tonga's or Tangaloa's injuries are. I'm going to say one of them comes back, which is a big, bold prediction. But I always like to throw one in there, otherwise it's boring, right? Anyone can just go, it's person wins, and that person loses. I don't want to do that, so we'll go with that. Similar to Dominic Mysterio versus AJ Styles, really. Finn Balor will be there, as will the Judgment Day in some guise. I don't think you can take it off Dominic Mysterio at the moment, just because AJ Styles is a mega super duper whooper babyface. If AJ Styles was a little bit more of a tweener, I'd actually pitch for Dominic losing the title here and having AJ win it, but people like AJ, and I think what we need to do is sort of fan the flames between Finn Balor and Dominic. I still think Dominic Mysterio has to be the babyface and Finn Balor has to be the heel, just given what did happen at WrestleMania, but AJ Styles doesn't really fit into that. I do think at some point, maybe at SummerSlam, we'll get Dominic versus Finn versus AJ. I think AJ is going to work as some kind of outlier here to get the belt on Finn, but it also means I'm advocating for more of a schmoz here, which is very interesting. Although, no. The Judgment Day could screw over Dominic. Finn Balor could still screw up, but it's JD McDonagh that helps out. Then AJ's pissed, and he can be like, Judgment Day, what are you doing? That keeps him in the Intercontinental title mix. Man, I'm booking it like it's Raw from 2 weeks ago. But it does move us on. Again, I think it's just one of those matches where WWE is leading into the fact that one, Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia is big on title shots, hence why they're doing Night of Champions there, but also the name Night of Champions. If you had the King and Queen of the Ring, I guess you can argue they're becoming the champion of that tournament. It's a little bit lame, so we're not getting the World Heavyweight Championship there. There's not even been a hint that Gunther's doing anything, even more so because he's taken on Goldberg like a couple of weeks after this. So you have the big one with John Cena and CM Punk, but then you need an IC Championship, you need a US Championship. It's bizarre to me that we're not doing anything. Why isn't Zelina Vega versus Julia on this show, right? And I understand it. It's on that SmackDown, which Julia is going to win. WWE has dropped the ball hard there because There's been no build whatsoever. 2 weeks ago, Zelina Vega said, I'm going to talk to that Julia next week. She didn't. That didn't happen. I believe it happened on the post-SmackDown show. I didn't even know that until somebody told me. I guess maybe it's just damage control. But you could have done the women's 3-1 here as well. Bayley, Becky versus Lyra Valkyria. Although that really is a SummerSlam match. I want us to build that like crazy. The point is Dominic Mysterio will win. I think you have to. I don't think you can do two crazy ones here. But it will be almost, the tease, the near fall, the 1-2 will be Finn Balor accidentally but on purpose screws him over. And then JD McDonough is like, what are you doing, man? You can't do that. And I think it will lead to a 3-way at SummerSlam, which I'd be well down for, because then you get AJ Styles and Finn Balor going at it. And Dominic Mysterio only benefits. And I think at Hot WrestleMania is when Dominic Mysterio should lose. And this is what I mean about the bizarre title runs coming out of Mania, because that's way too soon. Well, it is, but it's also because he's not done anything with it. Again, he only defended it against Shapes. We talked about this on social media. He defended it against Pentagon, then he defended it against Octagon Jr., but because we don't have a square, we don't have a circle, we don't have a hexagon, so somebody needs to bring in a hexagon. That's been the problem here, right? So Finn Balor should have changed his name to, like, I don't know, why can't I think of what shape's triangle? And AJ Styles needs to be, why can't I think of any shapes? Oblong. So oblong and triangle versus Dominic Mysterio, and only then can they win. I do think Finn Balor will leave SummerSlam with the IC Championship, depending what we do, of course, as I sit here on June the 23rd. There's going to be nonsense here. It's going to be proper DIC. And yes, it will look like Finn Balor has taken out Dominic Mysterio. Or maybe they do that. They give it to AJ Styles. I just don't feel it right now. I love AJ Styles, one of the best of all time, no doubt about it. So Judgment Day, shenanigans, but ultimately Dominic wins, but he knows, right? It's one of those, they're taking their time with this, and it's all tease, breadcrumbs, so that he will know. Dominic will know, I know what you did, Finn Balor, and JD be like, yeah, I know what you did too. Can't do an Irish accent to save my life. And then Finn Balor go, how's your rib? How dare you? And then we'll move on to what's ever next. But yes, Dominic Mysterio will still be the champion, moving into SummerSlam, Hot WrestleMania, and then I guess we've got to do King and Queen of the Ring. King of the Ring, I think, is easier for me. I think Cody Rhodes is going to beat Jey Uso on Raw, which goes down tonight. So if you watch this on Tuesday, but Simon, you're wrong, you bald idiot. But there's a comment box down there. And subscribe to the Patreon. We did the WrestleMania 17 gimmick battle royal. I had forgotten what happened to Repo Man. If you want to see a bald man meltdown about his favorite character ever, you can do it. It's only $5. The link in the description below. But yes, I think it'll be Cody Rhodes versus Randall Keith Orton, because I think we did the big thing on whatever video it was. I think we are leading into post SummerSlam, a Cody Rhodes Championship reign part 2, and he's going to be feuding with Randy Orton, who's going to go heel, because he's going to lose at King of the Ring, and maybe even lose in a sort of bad way, and he's pissed off about that. And then again, Cody can spin off, do his thing with John Cena, then come back. Randy Orton's going to RKO him, because Randy Orton keeps saying, Cody, I am going to do anything to win my 15th championship. And Cody's like, but I love you, Randy, so much. And Randy's like, listen to me, you absolute goof. I will do anything. And if he can't do it King of the Ring by being a good guy, well, then he'll become a bad guy. But he's Randy Orton, so maybe he'll still get cheered. But yes, I think Cody will win. I think Jey Uso should lose clean. I don't think it's going to happen. I think there's going to be shenanigans. But I think it was so good what we did with Sami Zayn on SmackDown to give him a story of, oh my gosh, you weren't able to do it, Sam. Now what are you going to do? I think Jey Uso should be in that boat as well. And I think it should be like, well, you know, here I stand. I lost my belt. I lost to Gunther. I've done all this stuff. What am I going to do about King of the Ring? This sucks. That's way more interesting. I don't want to repeat what the stuff I always go on about. But there's this idea in wrestling that if you lose, you're rubbish. Wrestling should always be about winning and losing and what that means for you as a person. That's why losing can be really good. But anyway, I mean, we did that with a very famous person in New Japan. Was it New Japan or was it Noah? It was All Japan. I can't remember. I shouldn't talk. Let's just move on. But yeah, so essentially I'm saying it's going to be Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton, and Cody Rhodes is going to win. I think it should be clean as a whistle. I really, really do. I think Cody Rhodes getting one over his mentor in the finals, much like what happened last year. Because essentially, I know there was all that controversy with the pin, but Gunther essentially went, ha, got you, and I'm a younger man or whatever. And if it happens to Randy twice, especially with someone that he's closer with, that justifies him going over the edge. He can be like, well, this is the second year it's happened. I'm so close to coming King of the Ring. No, King of the Ring, no. Maybe, I don't know what the hell he would do at SummerSlam. He'd have to come up with something. He'd need a detour. But I just think that WWE loves doing callbacks. When Randy Orton cuts that first heel promo, if he's all like, what happened to me at King of the Ring? This nonsense. What happened to me at King of the Ring 2025? This nonsense. I'm sorry, Cody, but I need that belt. And it's a great feud for the rest of 2025. I have fantasy booked CM Punk versus Cody at WrestleMania 42. John Cena's going to turn face, so he'll be done with Cody as well. It gives us 6 months plus more if you want to head into the Royal Rumble of Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton. You can say that's too long. I would disagree. There's so much history. There's so much weight to it. They're brothers, they're kinships, they're lovers and all of that stuff. So yes, Cody Rhodes is going to win here. And he'll main event SummerSlam and he'll win his belt back. I'm going full-on predictions, although of course we'll talk about them closer to the time. Queen of the Ring, I think it will be Jade Cargill versus Asuka. I'm just that's face versus face. And of course, the Judgment Day, or the House of Torture, and Love to Run and Interfere means that Jade could get screwed. But the thing is, what's the options, right? Tiffany versus... Actually, no, it wouldn't be Asuka versus Io Sky. I was about to say it'd be Asuka versus Tiffany Stratton. Why? Why have I made Tiffany Stratton the only person here? Asuka versus Io Sky is a super interesting match for obvious reasons, right? They're buddies, they're friends. Man, now I don't know what to do. I've actually, look at my done here. I've conned myself halfway through a video. I was convinced it was going to be Jade, but Jade Cargill versus Tiffany Stratton is a weird match. But Asuka versus Tiffany Stratton is a weird match. And Asuka versus Io Sky is a weird match. It's just babyface love. Babyface love all over the place, which is why I think Roxanne Perez could win. I'm not saying will, could win, because she is the heel. She has the Judgment Day. And her versus Io Sky makes a lot of sense. Oh, man, I really wanted to say Jade. I was going to say Jade. Okay, listen, we don't stand on ceremony here, Mr. Wayne. We go with the bold prediction. I feel like Jade Cargill is the obvious answer. Roxanne Perez versus Asuka makes more sense. You could argue that maybe they both benefit more than Jade Cargill, because Jade Cargill will be the champion this year regardless. It doesn't matter. She'll be able to get her way back into the scene. And if Roxanne and Perez and Asuka both win, do you know who's opened up anyway? Jade Cargill, because they'll stick to the Raw champion. I believe I'm right saying with no confidence whatsoever. So I'm going to change my opinion halfway through, which is a terrible idea. You never do this. If you're going to play the lottery and someone says last minute, do you want to change your numbers? You say no. I'll stick with my original numbers, because even if your change numbers came up, you'll be able to deal with that more than if you had OG numbers and you threw them in the bin, right? And flush them down the water closet. So I will go. I don't actually believe this. Roxanne Perez will win. On Raw tonight. Oh no, I'm going to ruin my predictions. Because of Judgment Day, and then she will march on to take on Asuka, and oh man, who wins that? Because Roxanne Perez wins it. But then she's going to lose to Io Sky. Do you want to lose that soon? I mean, I don't really care, right? She's lost a lot. And then Asuka loses too, but she can get screwed over. The thing is, if it's Jade Cargill versus Asuka, Asuka has to lose clean. Is that a problem? No, just talked about it. Is that something WWE is going to do? Don't know. Did not think I was going to spend the longest on this match, but this is really interesting. It's been a good king and queen of the ring. I'm going to say Roxanne Perez wins this whole thing, because who won it last year? It was Nia Jax, so she was more of an established talent. But then we did do the whole thing with the Intercontinental belt, which was Lyra versus Dakota Kai. Goodness me, how far we've come. I just think Roxanne Perez benefits the most, especially because if you want to get out of jail free card, you can do that, which protects Asuka. I think Asuka is the best. I would have Asuka win and win all the championships. I don't think that's going to happen given her place in the company right now. I'm going with Roxanne Perez to win the Queen of the Ring. That was not my pick for the last 6 weeks. I've been going Jade Cargill, Jade Cargill, Jade Cargill. But that's dumb. And do you know what's funnier? Laughing at me. Everybody enjoys that. It's happened throughout my life. Simon, you're an idiot. But if I am right, I'll feel better. So yes, Roxanne Perez beats whoever the hell she's fighting now, Jade Cargill, thanks to Judgment Day. And then you can do the Raquel Rodriguez thing as well, but then I doubt myself. Well, no, because that would be an evolution if Raquel Rodriguez is going to take Liv Morgan's place. Raquel and Roxanne need to become buddies. So if Raquel helps her, or something like that, that's when you can have a kinship between them. When Liv Morgan comes back, she's going to be a babyface anyway. All the best to her. She needs soldier surgery, which sucks. MVP of 2024. Hope she's doing okay. But if Raquel screws her here and she doesn't get through, then how the hell do you get to the Bella tag team match, which I presume that WWE is still going to do, but I don't know. I've made it up. Either way, I'm going to say they become friends. It means it's easier for Liv Morgan to come back as a babyface. Kind of sucks. We broke up her and Raquel way too early, but what are you going to do? Needs must. I'm going for Roxanne Perez. And look into my eyes, my friends. I don't believe this. I think it's absolute nonsense, and I think I'm a total idiot. And if you watch any of my other videos, you know my dark prediction for CM Punk versus John Cena for the WWE title, and I'm sticking with it. We've already made a mess of the rest of it. So, of course, I'm going to make a mess here like a child who has just been given ice cream for free. So, it's going to be great. I think all the work they did on SmackDown was awesome. I think there'll be something amazing they do on the Go Home show. And I think there's one big reason that Ron Killings R-Truth is getting involved in this, and why he's basically a schizophrenic. Sometimes he's true, sometimes he's Ron Killings. It's brilliant. I love this man. His interaction with Damian Priest on SmackDown made me feel warm and fuzzy in my tum-tum. Callbacks once again. But I think CM Punk is going to have this one. I think Ron Killings, who, by the way, did just attack halfway through SmackDown and say, I don't want to wait, is going to do the same again, because he still hasn't got his revenge on John Cena, who hit him in the head with a title. That's right. Even I think this is dumb. You're allowed to get mad at me, okay? This is really stupid. If you read it on Reddit or social media about it, this guy shouldn't be watching wrestling. I'm with you. But it popped in my brain, and it's so over the top. Again, I'd rather put it out there on those chances it does happen than just go, John Cena wins, and he will win with title shot and bull shot. Yeah, I don't do that kind of crap. That's not what you watch this channel for. And if it is, man, you can't have actually taken any of my videos. Ron Killings comes out. He wants to attack R-Truth. No, that's what makes sense. He wants to attack John Cena. He makes a mistake mistake because, again, he's too mad right now. He's consumed with rage. He accidentally takes out CM Punk not to dinner. There is shenanigans here. John Cena doesn't care. He does the title shot, bull shot, which has become his combo finish for Mortal Kombat, and he beats CM Punk. That's right. And the reason he does do that is if John Cena is still the champion, CM Punk has to be removed from this equation. You are not going to do John Cena versus CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes at SummerSlam. I do not believe. That would be an amazing triple threat match. If WWE does want to do that, they should. But I also think there's way more worth in the first interaction between Cody and CM Punk being at WrestleMania 42. Sometimes we need to be patient. You don't want to eat all the biscuits or the chips or the cookies at one time. So what it does do is spin CM Punk off to someone like Ron Killings, who he can work at SummerSlam. If Punk is about to head on to Cody Rhodes at WrestleMania, he can do something like this. And you just know that CM Punk is the kind of guy that when Ron Killings got fired, was like, well, that's a pile of bull crap. So as soon as he is back, you'll be like, I'll work with him. That would be awesome. That would be great. He gives them a mini story. SummerSlam is only like a month away. You can burn through it really quickly and it will be fun. And it puts Ron Killings in this amazing role where he's not really a babyface. He's not really a heel. Well, he is a babyface, but we can then lean into this more dual persona thing he's got going on, which I think would be really, really interesting. And I understand it's a very, very strange feud, but Punk has to have a reason to lose to Cena unless he becomes the WWE champion. Fine by me. I also don't think it's going to happen. Why wouldn't he go after Cena again? Because he can cut a promo on Raw saying, listen, Cena, we're not done. We are done, but that's what wrestlers say. So instead, I've got to deal with Ron Killings, and there you go. He's out of it. It allows you to do Cena versus Cody at SummerSlam with no holds and no usual wrestling trope of, I'm just not going to challenge for this championship anymore, even though I got screwed over. And it gives CM Punk an out, because CM Punk never gets pinned clean, and nor should he. He's too over as a babyface and feels too much like a legacy character these days. And in order to keep your legacy characters, you have to save those losses, like we did with Randy Orton. And there's the other kicking as well. How did Randy Orton lose? Ron Killings. As long as we haven't done this before, I know there was nonsense in the middle when WWE got rid of him, which is the stupidest thing ever, but he's back now, and you can reconnect that thread. Maybe Randy Orton gets involved. Maybe Randy's like, wait a minute, CM Punk is right. I didn't deal with you, Ron Killings, because you got fired in the middle of a reel, and now you are back. So that's what I'm going with. And John Cena is going to hit that man in the head with a title, and he's going to boot him in the balls. It's probably going to happen twice, and CM Punk's going to kick out, then you will get the other nonsense. CM Punk will move on. John Cena will win. You will probably get a stare down between Cody Rhodes and John Cena at the end of this. And then you have, yes, essentially a month. That's all it is until SummerSlam. And you can just build. Make sure we get some fine speeches in there. Make sure we take some of this awesome stuff that Punk and Cena have done. Allow Cody and Cena to do that as well. And I think you got yourself a pretty good SummerSlam card there, which it has to be because it is 2 nights. They want it to be hot WrestleMania for real. Where's it coming from? Is it New Orleans? No, that's where WrestleMania was going down. I can't remember, but whatever it is, I'm sure they're going to sell out or do really well anyway. Cena will walk away with the championship. I think Punk should be the champion, but not now. I think it needs to be Cody that beats him, and then I think Cena should feud with Logan Paul to turn him back babyface. Again, go check out my, what's it called, How We Should Book. It's not called that anymore. It's like how WWE should use John Cena in his last 6 months video. Very proud of what I came up with. Like, I don't think it's sensible, but in terms of fun and creating a roller coaster, I was like, I'll do that. That's what I'm going with, and that's where we are. And listen, man, I'm living on a stupid world, but there's just something about CM Punk versus R-Truth that makes me happy. It's when he came back in November 2023, I didn't think that was ever going to be on the cards. And I also cannot believe that when R-Truth renegotiated his contract, which he had to do, he must have said, I wanted some top guys. So he's got John Cena. So where does he drop off to after that? And what does CM Punk do? You can't have him go back to the Seth Rollins thing just yet. Well, I guess you kind of could have done. And this is the other thing why I think John Cena is going face. This CM Punk thing has been shoehorned in a little bit, which I don't mind because I'd rather get it done. But he was falling out with Seth Rollins' group, and now they've just all forgotten about each other. LA Knight's been thrown in there. And given I don't think we're doing LA Knight versus Seth Rollins on this show, that means that's for SummerSlam. So you need to keep CM Punk away from him too before eventually you double back round and probably do Team Cena versus Team Seth Rollins at War Games. We talked about that too. They're dumb, and you should be mad, and you should be like the Shelbyville Lemon Tree people. Oh, shake harder, boy. But shake harder in the comments. Everyone just write shake harder, boy, because then I know you got to the end of the video, and you're the real OGs, and also that would just crack me up. If you probably don't understand the reference, I'm an old man. Also, please leave me your predictions, more importantly. Like the video, share the video, subscribe, click the video on the screen, which is me talking about John Cena's promo from SmackDown. Absolutely loved it. Otherwise, notification bell and all that. Click things as much as you can. Patreon.com/Simon316 for the watch-alongs, the podcast, etc. Podcast is back up live for you now too. Search it on all apps. GrillerMind.com/Simon. Make sure you order your supplements from there. Ships worldwide. Deals all the time. Use the code Simon. The deal will come. Then you'll sit on the homepage, but use the code Simon. It's important. Simon316 on social media. Simon Miller on Cameo. Come give me your personalized video messages. Simon J. Miller on TikTok for absolute nonsense. And Big God Talent Pro Wrestling tees for stupid t-shirts. There's one right there, but can't reach it because I have terrible reach and be a terrible boxer. I appreciate you, my friends. Enjoy Night of Champions, even though it's a completely controversial event. I'll see you soon.